1/3 of this channel's viewers' biggest real estate and mortgage related challenge is saving for a down payment. And the down payment requirements are just getting bigger and bigger and bigger as housing prices go up. So in this video, I want to talk about how you can go about saving a down payment faster in Canada.
The definitive guide on how to manage your credit. Product, penalty, price, in that order. It's never been more important to get your mortgage right.
Okay, so let's get into it. Let's discuss how to save a down payment faster in Canada. At the very end of this video, I am going to invite you to join us in a challenge that costs about $97, and you will get $1,000 automatically back in return. I'll tell you how at the end of this video, but just keep in mind that that is going to come at the end, and we are going to help as many people as we possibly can save an extra $5,000 over the next month. And you can join us in that challenge if you like and send your down payment savings to the moon. But before we get into it, do me that favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and please hit that like button so more people like you can see this video. Don't forget about our race to 25,000 subscribers, where when we hit 25,000 subscribers, we're going to give away $5,000 to one lucky subscriber, but you have to be subscribed to win. And guess what? That $5,000 you can do with what you like. Maybe you don't need it for a down payment, but maybe you do. And if you want to use it to add to your down payment fund, that's totally up to you. But one thing is for sure, you have to be subscribed to win. So go ahead, click that subscribe button. It's free, it's easy, and it's definitely worth it. And let's get into the framework for saving a down payment faster in Canada. This is something that I've been putting together for the last couple of weeks after we realized how many people were struggling with a down payment. And that seems to be one of the biggest obstacles to getting into home ownership right now. We're seeing that approximately 30% of people are getting gifted funds from their family members. So family members basically refinancing, pulling equity out of their house or taking it out of their investments and giving it to their children or their grandchildren. But that leaves about 70% of people who are pretty much stuck on their own to get their own down payment. So today what we're going to talk about is a framework for getting your down payment and getting it faster. And there's basically 5 things you can do to accelerate your down payment savings. Now, some of this stuff is stuff you may have heard before. Some of it is definitely not things that you've heard before. So stay tuned for those. And really it comes down to just being really smart about your finances. And this framework that we've developed is really simple, and it takes it, and instead of trying to do it all by spending less money or pulling money from over here or trying to have a side hustle and all the other things that people say are the way to save a down payment, what we're doing is we're doing a holistic approach where we look at every option that's available to us. And yes, that starts with trying to spend less money, but it also means looking at things like government incentives, accountability groups, and all sorts of other things when it comes to saving a down payment and doing it faster. Because in order to do anything fast, people think there's a silver bullet action that you can take for pretty much anything. But the reality of it is it's stacking multiple things together so that the compound effect ends up being huge. And the way I like to look at it is this, is we're trying to lay one brick at a time. And what we do is we lay the first brick, maybe that's saving more money, and then we lay the second brick and maybe that's spending less money. And then we lay the third brick and maybe that's using RSP incentives and so on and so forth. And then we lay the fourth brick, which is maybe having an accountability group or doing something to make more money, and so on and so forth. And by the time we're done, we've got this wall of personal finance that ends up allowing us to save our down payment significantly faster. So let's get into the 5-part framework of how to save your down payment faster. And it's really simple. It starts first and foremost with plugging the holes in your finances. So there's all kinds of holes that you can try to plug here. The big ones are things like car loans that basically drain $500, $600, $700 out of your account every single month. Don't come to me and say, hey, I'm having a really hard time buying a home because I don't have a down payment and I don't qualify and housing prices are getting too high, and then sit there and drive around an Audi with an $800 payment and complain about it. The first thing you need to do is make sure that your expenses aren't exceeding your income, and that the things you're doing, like driving a car, aren't pulling money out of your bank account every single month and basically draining you dry. The other things that you can do is you can look at all the subscriptions that you have, the Netflix, the Amazon, the Audible, the security systems that you have, all of the things that cost you money, and you can either eliminate some of those, or a lot of people don't realize that things like your telephone bill and your security bill and your internet bill and your energy bill are things that you can go back and you can take a look at, and you can basically renegotiate into lower dollar amounts so that you're saving more money on those things. Other things that you can do to plug holes in your finances is stop eating out as often as you do, stop going to Starbucks every single week. You know, somebody looks at a coffee maker and goes, it's $200 for that Nespresso machine, but they're spending $350 to $400 a month at Starbucks, but they refuse to buy the expensive Nespresso machine. That thing will pay itself off in dividends over the course of several months. And over the course of several years, it's going to pay you back hugely. Ask me, a few years ago, we went and bought a super high-end espresso maker. It was about $1,000. And that coffee machine, even though it was a $1,000 investment up front, has saved us tens of thousands of dollars in Starbucks over the last couple of years. So it's all about finding strategic ways to plug those holes. And by the way, the coffee that we make at home, significantly better than the crap that you would buy at Starbucks. So here's the deal. The first step is to plug the holes in your finances. Now, here's the big thing, is nobody's going to save $5,000 in 30 days or save $100,000 in a year by plugging the holes in their finances and, scrimping and getting a little bit less money leaving the bank account on a daily basis and, only taking lunches to work and all of those things. Yes, they all help, but those aren't the things that can make a big difference. They'll make a little difference, but you have to do more than just spend less and save more. So the next step in saving a down payment faster is going through all of your possessions, all the things that you own that maybe you don't use as much as you should, maybe that are expensive things that don't get used very often, or maybe are expensive things that you get cheaper versions of, and go through and start looking at the things around your house that you can put up on Facebook Marketplace, put up on Kijiji, put up on Craigslist, whatever the app is where you are, and basically take those things and turn them back into cash so that you can use those for a down payment. And most people don't realize how much stuff they accumulate that we don't use. As I am sitting here, I have an 8-year-old son and I'm looking across the room and I see a baby stroller from when he was an infant. It's probably worth $300 or $400, but yet it is just sitting there. So going ahead and finding the things in your life, in your world that you don't use anymore, can add a pretty significant amount to your down payment really quickly as well. Now, the third step in the framework for saving your down payment faster is to go out and find ways to make more money. And this doesn't mean that you're confined to your 9 to 5. You don't have to go in and ask for a raise or ask for more money or find a better job, although all of those things help. But there are so many ways that you can make extra money as a side hustle. And it's really, really easy to do. Everything from driving Ubers or skip the dishes or whatever the food delivery service is in your area, if that's what you're so inclined to do, to going out and finding old furniture and refinishing it in like white paint, for example, and making that furniture go from being something that's almost free or something that people are giving away to a $300 or a $400 or a $500 heirloom piece. We've seen people flip couches. We've seen people do golf regripping and golf club repairs. We've even seen one of our friends go and get little copper ball markers or copper metal pieces, stamp them using a stamping tool, a hammer and an anvil, and basically sell them for $25 to $30 as customized Christmas gifts and make tens of thousands of dollars in a year. So there's lots of ways to make extra money if you have a little bit of ingenuity and you are willing to do a little bit of extra work. And by the way, a lot of the side hustles that people do end up being things that are really fun for them and end up being something that's not a burden, and then go on to be something that are full-time jobs and careers because they become so fulfilling and so profitable by just putting in a little effort and elbow grease. Now, the fourth thing that we need to talk about with respect to saving down payment faster is being strategic. So using things like RSPs to your advantage. By the way, I'm not a proponent of the equity share program that the federal government has. It doesn't make a ton of sense, the free down payment program that they've created, but you can use things like your RSPs and tax return rebates and things like RSP loans to strategically increase your down payment funds really, really quickly. And then you can go ahead and use those RSPs, withdraw them, and you can use them as a down payment and pay them back into your RSPs over the next 10 or 15 years. So if you're really strategic about the way you use your money, maybe you set up a TFSA and you invest the funds, and because the funds are invested, they're also growing at the same time, you can add a pretty significant amount of money in a pretty short period of time to that down payment fund. Now, the last and final piece in our 5-part framework is accountability, because everything I just went through is probably going to take you some time to figure out and some effort to do. And the big thing about taking effort and putting your time and effort into something is that eventually you're going to get to a point where you want to stop. And having people that are there to be your cheerleaders and push you forward is hugely important. In sales, in school, and pretty much anything else in life, having a sphere group that helps move you along and pushes you forward is one of the most beneficial things you can have. So having accountability partnerships, having groups of people around to help make sure that you're increasing your down payment savings can actually accelerate your down payment savings faster than anything else. And also, when you see other people around you doing the exact same thing, it ends up being a catalyst for you to find more ways to do the things that you want. Take myself, for example. We've spent a lot of time down in San Diego and Fort Collins, Colorado, with two different groups, the Ninja Selling Group in Colorado and the Darren Hardy Group in San Diego. And just being around the people in the room that made significantly higher amounts of income than myself and my wife, they had a huge impact on us. And what it did was, instead of pushing us down, it brought us and it pulled us higher into the realms that they were in and helped us do the things that we wanted to accomplish in home ownership and in our business and even on this YouTube channel significantly faster. So why do I bring accountability into all of this? Well, one of the things that is hugely, hugely important for me, and part of my why, is to help people succeed financially. In fact, the precise why statement is to inspire people to thrive financially and give back. So part of my giving back is to help people thrive financially by helping them get their down payment faster. So what I did, and what I sincerely hope that you join us in, is I've created a down payment challenge. It costs $97. The reason it costs $97 is because when people have to pay for things, they get value out of them. And when people get things for free, they tend to not follow along. So I ask people to make an investment. You spend that $97 to become part of our down payment challenge. We automatically give you $1,000 to put towards your down payment if you end up using Mortgage 360 for your mortgage. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through this 5-part framework in a 30-day challenge. We're going to assign tasks. We're going to rework your finances. And if we do it just right, we should be able to add $5,000 at minimum to pretty much everybody who comes through the challenge's down payment fund. I'm so incredibly confident that this will have a huge benefit for you if you're in the process of saving a down payment and trying to get to that goal of home ownership faster. And, maybe we're going to have to catch a rising market, a rising tide. Maybe by the time you end up saving your down payment, you're going to have housing prices that are coming down and you're going to be able to get a deal. But regardless, I'm going to get you there faster so you have the option of buying a home significantly sooner than you ever thought possible. So if you would like to join us, go to downpaymentchallenge.ca. You can subscribe there, pay the $97. The website will tell you exactly when the next challenge starts. You'll be put into a cohort. We'll have a Facebook group where you can share your successes, where you can work with other people, have some accountability. I will be your guide for 30 days, giving you an assignment, a task, or information every single day. And we are going to knock this out of the park together. If you don't join us, at least do me that favor. If you found this video useful, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Please hit that like button so more people like you can see this video. Don't forget about our race to 25,000 subscribers, where you could also win $5,000 and you could end up using that money to put it towards your down payment. And we'll see you on the very next video. Cheers.